Joe Burrow is on fire right now. That's the one thing I can say. I mean, he is like literally on fire.
Literally on fire might cause a spike in the ratings. Here we are. Week 7 Picks Podcast, PFTPM, Chris Simms Unbuttoned, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza.
And when you get pizza from Little Caesars, it will not literally be on fire. It will have been cooked over a fire or whatever apparatus they use to heat the bread, the cheese, and the meat. They've got these crazy puffs, I think.
Yeah.
I got to go get them. It's
right.
like a little muffin. It's like a little pizza muffin. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it is. I'm reading some of the comments there. People are a little too literal about literally, all right? That's all I'm going to say. All right, people in our YouTube comments like to get very much into the weeds of literal and all of that. I understand he wasn't literally on fire last week. Thank you. I get it. I've had some arguments, too, over the last week over there, right? T-H-E-R-E and T-H-E-I-R, which I'll never write T-H-E-I-R ever in my life, Mike. But I get comments about that, too. You know what I mean with there, and you knew what I mean by literally. Literally on fire on the football field. Thank you very much. There you go.
They changed the meaning years ago to reflect the fact that it was consistently misused. Literally can now be used to connote figuratively. It literally was changed. So it's not incorrect.
I'm not
Pete
incorrect, you're saying? Mike, I mean, Pete is on the other.
You're literally correct in the way you used literally. Pete said it's literally bullshit.
Right.
That they allow it to happen.
Yeah.
I literally don't give a shit.
Me neither. Exactly right. All right. But I hear you. It's funny how people die with every word or punctuation or everything like that. And I don't know. I am just not that person. But yes, I know Joe Burrow was not literally on fire. Thank you very much to at Freddie Lubin, at Unified Theory 6778, and at Christopher Myers 8876. What up, dudes?
This really is a little bit condescending. And
what part?
The Unified Theory 6778. And I get emails like that from time to time about you, about things I say. And, man, really, I pass the test every day because I know that if you fail at once, you have a problem.
Right.
At work. I long for the day at quiet moments sometimes where PFT is independent again so I can respond to some of those emails with a go f*** yourself. I know you can't do it if you're working for NBC, but man, I'm tempted from time to time. And I continue to pass the test, and hopefully I'll continue to do so. But if PFT's ever independent again, you know how you get that standard response, I'm out of the office until March 15 or whatever it is. I'll just have a standard go f*** yourself response. All right, let's get to it. Let's
go.
Last week, man, holy crap. And I was rooting hard for the Jets on Monday night.
Just think
solely to be right.
Yeah.
Hey, there it is. The old Andy Reid with the horrible fake mustache from 10 years ago. See,
that's incredible.
If you're not on the show on a regular basis, you miss these things. We had a reference to, I have those glasses up here. You know those glasses I break out from time to time? I actually fell down on the floor, and I'm too lazy to reach for them. But that was part of an Andy Reid ensemble from 10 years ago. I said if the Raiders beat the Chiefs at the time when the Chiefs were highly favored, I would acquire and wear an Andy Reid or Randy Eade outfit, and I did. So that's 2014.
It's awesome. I don't remember ever seeing that. I've never seen that picture. That's great.
That was 3 years before you were even part of the family.
Yeah.
That was pre-Chris.
Yeah.
That was BC.
And damn, we had a good week. I'm you versus the spread. You're on fire versus the spread, like literally on fire, literally on fire. No doubt about it.
And if you follow my advice, you should just literally set your money on fire because ultimately it will.
Oh no, we would have made people money.
Well,
how dare you? Last week we would have made them lots of money. You can't say that.
54, 35, and 3 for the season. You got me with best bets. You were 3-0 this week. I was 2-1, but 12-2. 12-2. If the Jets had pulled that game off, and I thought that they were going to, you'd have been 13-1 for the week.
Well, I had a chance. It was a good week, definitely. I do feel like it was a week, like I think I said to you Monday morning, where we started to feel like, you got a clue. Teams are settling into what they are, and we're starting to differentiate a little bit between upper class, middle class, and lower class of the NFL. I do think that was a part of last week in Week 6. We'll see if that continues. We know it's the NFL. Games are close. But I saw some of these spreads of these games, and they were kind of surprising when I was looking at them. So I'm excited for today, and hopefully we can keep this hot streak going.
I still haven't studied the spreads. I did my picks. Knee-jerk reaction, pasta and meatballs. It worked last week at 12-2. We'll see if it works this week. And by the way, every single week this season, you can play along with us. DraftKings has set up the free $1,000 Florio and Simms pick and pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a 10,000 or a 1,000. Sorry, I'm not coming up with the extra 9,000. A 1,000, not 10,000 prize pool every week.
Download the DraftKings app, click on the Pools tab, and enter the Florio and Simms free $1,000 pick-em pools to make your picks.
Just like us, you must enter all of your picks before kickoff of the initial game of the week on Thursday night, and this week it is Sean Payton back in the Bayou.
Back in the Bayou, baby.
2.5-point favorites.
Going home.
It's gone from 3 to 2.5. A lot of Spencer Rattler money apparently coming in on the Saints to move the line a little bit. So lowest over under the week at 37. Road favorites last week were 9-0 straight up and 9-0 against the spread. Do you like the Broncos to go in on Sean Payton / Drew Brees tonight? Because it's Drew Brees Hall of Fame, Team Hall of Fame at halftime. Sean Payton coming back into the building. Who wins, Broncos or Saints?
Well, I'm definitely taking the Broncos. There's no doubt about that. The Saints are too banged up of a football team, and then I think when you add on top it's Sean Payton coming to town. Sean Payton knows payback. You know, not that it's payback. He loves the New Orleans Saints. I know that. But he likes to make his point or show his greatness, or he doesn't want to go back on his old home turf where he was a Super Bowl winning coach and lose. So I do think there's extra motivation there. And I think that's with Sean Payton, it's the kind of thing where, yeah, he might take a chance on a play or something creative, to make a point or make a statement in this football game. My biggest thing here, Mike, is the Saints are a banged up football team. They're playing a backup quarterback. Both their starting receivers are out. I am shocked, okay, literally shocked, okay, that it's only a 2.5-point spread. I do. I know Patrick Surtain is hurt on the Denver Broncos side, but man, I don't see how the Saints move the ball consistently on this Broncos defense. I'm expecting the Broncos defense to probably even score some points tonight, and the Saints defense, as we know, it ain't anything special. So I'm going Broncos 27-9 in this one.
I feel bad that we've dropped so many F-bombs. Marie's Kristen, she's going to have to clean up all of these swears.
No, I'm sorry, Marie. I do feel bad for you a little bit, but I mean, it's a podcast. Why can't they just let them go? What are we scratching them out for?
It's not like it's going to stop you anyway, so
exactly.
It doesn't really matter. I'm surprised you're going that big of a margin.
I am.
I'm a little safer here, 23-17. I think the Saints will put up a fight. But at the end of the day, yeah, Sean Payton, newsflash, he's extremely competitive. He is going to, and he downplays it.
Yeah,
he's had this game circled from the moment it landed on the schedule, and he probably spent time preparing for it before the season even started as best he could. Plans change, but this is one that he is not going to want to lose. And they had won 3 in a row before losing to the Chargers on Sunday. Hell, maybe one of the reasons they lost to the Chargers is he was thinking a little bit too much about this one. Regardless, I think they win this one, and they move to 4-3, which is pretty damn good for a Broncos team that started 0-2.
No doubt about it. It is pretty damn good, and I think I agree with everything you said. Plus, he knows it's Drew Brees night. He doesn't want, he wants to make a statement too with Drew Brees going like, hey, you were awesome. I'm awesome. Look at this. Totally agree with you there. I'm excited. I picked 27-9. Like, I don't think it's a blowout 27-9. You know what I mean? Like, it's a maybe a 17-9 and it's kind of close. And then, they get a touchdown or an interception and kind of pull away slowly but surely late. That's kind of what they do when they win their football games. They wear you down, and they seem to, finally overwhelm teams late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter in a lot of their victories.
We need to get to the next game, but
yeah.
I know you don't watch PFT Live when you're not on it, and I don't blame you.
Sometimes.
We were talking earlier today about this whole Tom Brady, now part owner of the Raiders, and we said, if and when Tom Brady has a Broncos game, if Peyton's still the coach,
yeah.
Peyton will bar anyone from Fox from the building. Anyone.
What do you think Jim Harbaugh is going to do? Jim Harbaugh barely will let his own family in the building. I mean,
we decided, Miles Simmons and I decided Harbaugh will let them in but not give them anything.
Right.
But Peyton will say none of the Fox people are allowed in the building because you're going to run back to Tom Brady. Even though he can't be here, you're going to run back and tell him everything. Peyton will say,
I think the Kansas City Chiefs will be the same way. I don't think it'll be much different there either. Listen, this
Fortunately
is, to me,
for
it's
Fox,
weird.
They don't have many AFC West games.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's good.
All right.
Yep, let's go.
Fortunately for Fox, they don't have to broadcast the caca that is Patriots versus the Jaguars at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. Literally, sorry, London, that you have to tolerate 1-5 versus 1-5. Doug Peterson might have been fired if they weren't stuck in London for the whole week. The Jaguars are favored by 5.5 over the Patriots, who are winless since upsetting the Bengals to start the season. Do the Jaguars get to 2-5, and do they cover the 5.5, Chris?
I do think so. I'm going to say they win, okay? And I actually am taking them to cover, too. 5.5 does seem – I was a little surprised to see it that much. I'm not going to lie. But I think between desperation – on Jacksonville's side, almost borderline embarrassment from last week, right? Everything you just said there, Doug Peterson, and yeah, he might have been fired if they came home. They're a more talented team than the New England Patriots. Drake May last week certainly had some bright spots, but I'd be lying too if I told you it was all smooth sailing, right? There are some, concerning throws, not great in the pocket, taking unnecessary hits. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see him turn the ball over another 3 or 4 times in this football game. He's just raw like that. He'll make a few, wow plays, jaw-dropping plays, but ultimately I do think Jacksonville's better. I think they get off the schneid here. They get a few more playmakers on both sides of the football. I think they show up 23-17 Jaguars.
24-14 for me, and this is pride. This is acclamation. They've been there the whole week. And what else have they had to do except stew over the fact that they embarrassed themselves against the Bears?
Right.
Andre Sisco comes out and says there was a lot of quit on the defense. Look, if you can't parlay what happened on Sunday and the aftermath of it into a victory over one of the worst teams in football, it really is done. And Doug Peterson will be fired when they get back from London, if not on the flight home. The meeting with Shad Khan will occur if they don't pull this one off, and I think they will by 10 points, 24-14.
Right, he saves his job for another week, right? That's what we'll say there. Yeah.
Well, then they have the Packers, and their bye is later, but it feels like he's just delaying the inevitable. But again, if you're going to win another game on your entire schedule, it's this one. You've been there for a week. The Patriots are just getting there. They stink. Sorry, but they do. This is your chance, and if you blow it, you might as well go home. Okay, Seahawks at the Falcons. Atlanta favored by only 3. Big over-under of 51. Seahawks have lost 3 in a row since starting 3-0. The Falcons have been a little up, a little down, 4-2. They could be 6-0. They could be 1-5. The only convincing win they had was last weekend against the Panthers. Do they win and cover at home? You have yet to pick the Seahawks against the spread this season, by the way.
Well, giddy up. Let's continue that freaking trend, okay? That was for you, Maria. I said freaking, okay? That was just for you. It was the last time I'm saying it, though. It didn't feel good coming out of my mouth. Not at all. Just not right, all right? But, yeah, I'm riding with the Falcons. I don't think this is a great matchup for the Seattle Seahawks. One, the Seattle Seahawks, right, are having a problem stopping the run. This is not the team you want to play when you have a problem stopping the run. Atlanta can really run the football. They have a two-headed monster in Algier and Brian Robinson Bijan Robinson that are special. And then we know that old line's really good. And Kirk Cousins and company, even though it might not be the most explosive passing offense in the world, there's still a ton of positives right now. He's playing well. They've learned to infuse Drake London and Kyle Pitts in almost every game plan here recently. They can throw to Bijan Robinson out of the backfield, and they got Darnell Mooney as kind of their home run guy. On the other side, Seattle, they don't run the ball well, and I think Atlanta plays good pass defense. They're creative on that side. They do a lot of different things there. So because of that one-dimensional way of Seattle and the fact that they can't run the ball or stop the run, and if you're going to beat Atlanta, I do think you need to run the ball a little bit. Yeah, I like Atlanta at home 34-24. I think there's a lot of exciting plays here, but I just think this Atlanta offense will be too much from the Seattle defense.
I'll go 27-20, and you said the passing game isn't explosive. It was 509 yards 2 weeks ago in overtime against the Bucs. They have the capacity to really light it up, and I just feel like the Seahawks are teetering right now. They gave the 49ers everything they could handle. They tried to play with the Lions, but they blew that game against the Giants that they should have won. And this just feels like we're getting further separation. We're starting to move into the period of the schedule, kind of what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I think so.
Where the good separate from the bad. And there will be corrections from time to time. There will be upsets, but this feels like continuation of the trend. Falcons are legitimate. Seahawks are still finding their way. And if they were playing in Seattle, maybe it's a different outcome. 27-20. Falcons win in Atlanta.
And, I didn't, I know they can throw for a lot of yards. I meant more explosive, like they're not going to be bombs, right? It's not going to be 50-yard post. It's when he threw for 500 yards, it was a lot of 15, 12, 15, 10, 15, 20. It was that kind of throwing. That's what they are. They kind of surgically destroy you with intermediate passing game in Atlanta. And then occasionally take that shot to Darnell Mooney. But I do think they got it going a little in Atlanta right now and got some confidence.
Titans and the Bills.
Whoa.
Buffalo favored by 9.5 points. It is the biggest spread of the week with an over-under of 41. Now, the Bills are coming off of the short week, emotional game, Monday Night Football against the Jets. Sometimes that can be a difference maker. The Titans, we both picked to win last time for the first time this year, and they screwed us at the drive-thru.
Yes, they did. Is that for Maria too?
We're
You're supposed to say f*** us at the drive-thru.
I'm trying to be nice. The Titans weren't nice last week. Do we hold it against them? Do we pick the Bills to cover? Surely we pick the Bills to win. Do we pick the Bills to cover?
I don't hold it against them. I'm not picking them for factual reasons, and that's because their offense is, in Mike Florio's words, caca, okay? That's why I'm not picking them, okay? I'm picking the Bills to win the football game. I'm picking the Bills to cover the spread. I can see Tennessee hanging around for a little bit. I do think the Titans' defense will be a pain in the butt for this Bills offense. I don't think they're going to start the game just marching up and down the field on them. The Titans' defense is really good. I know I've said that before. And I do think they can kind of handle the physicality of that Bills O-line. Right? Now, they got another weapon at receiver in Amari Cooper. I'm excited to see that unveiled. But ultimately, it comes back to, the Bills have Josh Allen, right? I do think their offense will be better with Amari Cooper. And it feels like Will Levis is in shell shock. Last week it looked like a game where I don't want to make a mistake. If I make a mistake, I'm going to get pulled out of the game. So I'm never going to throw a ball aggressively down the field or never really be confident in any decision. And I just don't trust their offense against the Bills defense. 28-13 Bills.
Yeah, I'm going Bills 34-17. I feel like the Bills are in the position to kick things into overdrive. We saw what they did to the Jaguars at home. They had the rough night against the Ravens. They had the rough day in Houston. They're getting it back on track. And the Bills now with Amari Cooper and this notion that maybe they'll make more moves, that they truly are all in the real sense, not the Jerry Jones gaslight sense. So I like what the Bills are doing. You didn't believe in the Bills. You do believe in the Bills now. That's good news. We'll see if you believe in them when they're actually playing a team that
we'll see.
Might be as good as them.
Right.
Okay, Bengals at the Browns. The Browns is the Browns, but Joe Burrow is 1-5 in his career against the Cleveland Browns. Bengals are favored by 6 as they try to get to 3-4 on the season. Nick Chubb back for Cleveland. 3 straight home games. This is something Miles Simmons pointed out. They haven't played a home game since week 3. They've had 3 straight road games. Now with 3 straight home games, it is going to be relentless.
Yes, it will.
Against Deshaun Watson,
right,
unless they turn it around quickly. Can they?
No, I don't think so. I do think that their defense will pose problems for Joe Burrow and company. Schwartz knows this West Coast offense, right? So it's one of those where I feel like he knows the rules. They have talent on the outside at corner and stuff to match up and feel comfortable blitzing every now and then, right? So I look at it there and go, I could see Cleveland being a pain in the butt, certainly, but ultimately we know it's a little bit like the last game we just talked about. I don't really trust Cleveland's offense to be able to consistently do something. Now, Cincinnati's defense is not great. We get that. And I do think maybe that Cleveland, this may be a day where maybe they move the ball a little bit better than we've seen them move it. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the team that I think is better and a little bit more desperate and has got just a little bit more of a positive culture in the Bengals. I'm going to go 24-20, not covering the spread, but getting the win.
24-17, Bengals get the win. I just have no faith in the Cleveland Browns. I think it's too late for Nick Chubb to make a difference. I feel like the walls are closing in. The decision to trade Amari Cooper sends a powerful message to the locker room.
Right.
Number one, we're giving up. And number two, maybe you can try to get out of here too. Maybe there's a path out of Cleveland to a contending team for you. But either way, I think the Bengals, who are much more in need of a win, they don't and can't afford to fall to 2-5. Bengals get the win 24-17. All right, sneaky great game on Sunday. Texans going to Green Bay. Another road game against an NFC North team. The Packers at Lambeau Field. They're favored by 3 with an over-under of 47.5. You have picked the Packers to win every single game this season. Do you like them to beat the Texans, who are a little mildly surprisingly 5-1?
Yeah, 5-1, right? 5-1. I would almost say, I don't know if I feel like they've been overly impressive in any game that I would look at, right? Winning games, we know that's the battle. We just want to win games. But does feel like points are left on the field on the offensive side of the ball a little bit in every game. Defensively, they don't let you get a lot of yards, but people seem to find a way into the end zone and score on this Houston Texans defense a little bit. The Green Bay Packers, as you know, I think are extremely talented. I do. And with their ability to run the ball on a smaller front seven down there in the Houston Texans that are more about speed and flying around, and then the way they throw the ball down the field and all the guys they have available to them and the versatility of their offense, I think they're going to give the Houston Texans defense some issues. A little bit like maybe we saw from the Minnesota Vikings and what they did there. Now, I expect Houston to move the ball in the Green Bay defense as well, but up in Green Bay, great environment. I do think Green Bay's got talent on that side to match up with Houston, especially without Nico Collins in the lineup. I'm going to take the Packers here, 27-24, late field goal to win it.
Whoa. 3-point spread.
Oh, sorry. I'll go.
Pick a lane, Tom Brady.
I'll go 27-23 Packers, okay? 27-23.
I've got 28-24 Packers. That was my predetermined score without knowing the spread. Look, the Texans are a very good team. But the Texans have yet to show
there's something
road signature win.
Okay, right.
They had a chance against Baltimore last year in the playoffs, didn't do it. Chance against Minnesota this year, didn't do it. Their biggest win of the season would be Buffalo coming to town and beating them. Road signature win is what the Texans are lacking. Until they do it, I'm going to assume that they're not ready to do it. They can prove me wrong if they want to, but for now, the smart play is the Packers by 4, which means the Packers cover.
Houston's real good, but I do think it's like I said, it's hard to put my finger on it. They haven't, and I even know last week, right? Last week, it was domination. It was 14-0 early, and then it was 14-7, and then it was 14-7 for a while. And you were like, man, are they going to let New England hang around? And then their defense got the strip sack, and they got the short field. But every game, I feel like, has been like that. Buffalo dominate the first half. Second half, disappear. Jacksonville, outplayed by the Jaguars, really. If Trevor Lawrence could hit the broadside of a barn in that game, the Jaguars win. So it's weird feeling with Houston. Like I said, I know they're good and they're talented and they got a special quarterback, but I just feel like they haven't played their best football yet, and I'm not going to pick them to do it this week up in Green Bay.
They find a way to win the games they're supposed to win.
Yep.
They lack a signature road win. And this would be it if they could pull it off. I just don't think with Jordan Love back and looking like the Jordan Love of late last season, I don't think they can pull this off. And, at some point this year, they're going to have to get there unless they end up with the 1 seed and force the Chiefs, the Ravens, whoever to come to town. They're going to have to show that they can win a big game on the road. All right, next up on the docket, the Dolphins at the Colts. Dolphins coming off of a bye week. Colts favored by 3. Indications are Anthony Richardson will be back for Indy. Tua Tagovailoa can't come back until week 8 at the earliest, and it sounds like he won't be back then. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I've gone back and forth with this one. The Dolphins offense versus the Colts defense, if Tua was in there or if it was a Skylar Thompson who's been in the offense for a little while, I'd be scared for the Colts defense. You know, their non-ability to stop the run, and then, of course, we know it could be open season downfield for Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But it's still a quarterback that's learning the offense. They're not going to be able to, throw the whole playbook at him or at the Colts defense with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. And at home, the Colts, right, their ability to run the ball, Anthony Richardson, when he is playing, his ability to enhance that run game and stress you out there, right? And then I know he's going to be a little inconsistent throwing, but he'll make some plays, definitely. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith in the Dolphins right now. I don't. And I have a lot of faith in Shane Steichen and his offensive game plans and his ability to do that to, no matter who it is, really, move the ball, find ways to get in the end zone. I'm going to go to the Colts 23-20, winning this one at home.
3-point spread.
Oh, my gosh. Okay,
Pick a lane,
I'll go.
Tom Brady.
I'll go. So see, I pick them like you. I don't pick it. I pick it, and then I kind of go and look at the spreads just as an interest, but I don't adjust, as you could tell. So I'll go 24-20 Colts.
I got 24-16 Colts. I don't have any faith in the Dolphins without Tua Tagovailoa. And when Mike McDaniel said earlier this week that he expects Tua to play again at some point this year, the reality is if they don't start winning games soon, there's no reason for Tua to come back. There's no reason to throw him into that fray and have him make a decision based upon desperation and urgency. They've got to show that they can win. Yeah, they did beat the Patriots the last time they played, but it wasn't impressive. And this is a much tougher spot against a better team. I think the Colts get the win and the Dolphins pick up another loss. All right, one of the best games of the day. Vikings coming off the bye week. Vikings favored against the Detroit Lions at home by 1.5 points with an over-under of 51. You've picked Detroit to win every week this season. I have picked Minnesota against the spread every game this season. It's nut-cutting time,
okay,
as Jason Garrett would say.
Yep.
Who do you got?
Oh, let's hear it. Cut a part of your nut off and tell me about it. Let's go.
Well, I just think that even though the Vikings have been impressive this year, and they actually could have won in blowout fashion, multiple scores, minimum, all 5 games. And I like the fact that in 3 of the games, in the fourth quarter, it became a 1-score game, and Sam Darnold settled down the offense and led a scoring drive that ended up making the difference, whether it was against the 49ers, the Packers, or most recently against the Jets in London. But the Lions just have something this year. The Lions, like, if the Vikings falter at all, if they have a lead and they falter at all, the Lions are going to take it from them. The Lions have it going on. The Aiden Hutchinson injury, I think, brings them closer together. The offense is firing on every possible cylinder and then some. I just don't think the Vikings are ready for what they're going to see. And we're going to get an idea of where the Vikings fit. And am I saying that because I'm trying to speak into existence a Matthew Stafford trade to Minnesota? Maybe. But I think there's a chance that Sam Darnold got exposed last time around by the Jets. And if Aaron Jones, who didn't practice on Wednesday with a hamstring injury, that was a hip injury, and the initial indications were he'd be good to go this week, that's now a hamstring. They traded for Cam Akers. I'm worried they're not going to have Aaron Jones. And without him, that's a different offense. So I haven't picked my score. 34-31. Lions beat the Vikings.
A lot of emotional hedging there. A lot of emotional hedging. When are you going to say the Vikings are good? Like, how many teams do they have to beat that are the top of the league before they're good?
I don't know. I picked them to win.
The best team.
I picked them to beat the Texans. I picked them to beat the Packers.
It's the best team. And you make them number 3. And now you're trying to ruin your team's quarterback, right? Like, get another. You've been awesome.
I'm trying to give them advice on how to win a Super Bowl.
The Jets might have exposed them. No, you want to know who got exposed in that game a little bit is Justin Jefferson. He couldn't get open against Sauce Gardner or some of those corners. That was the problem. I mean, the Jets make every quarterback not look that good. They're damn good on D. So I think you're a little misplaced in your respect for the Minnesota Vikings. I do think this is going to be a fun game. Minnesota's offense is awesome. I expect them to score a ton of points in this football game. I do. But the ultimate problem here is I do think more of the Minnesota defense versus the Lions offense. That's where I kind of look at it and go, yeah, Minnesota can stop the run. And they do a good job because they put all the people at the line of scrimmage. They're not going to be able to play like that totally in this game. They're not, because Detroit's too aggressive in the pass game. So they have everybody at the line of scrimmage and they're trying to back out. They're going to not be able to get back where they need to go when Jameson Williams is flying down the field or Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then you couple that with the Lions' run game has become like, I don't want to unstoppable, or hey, we know we're running it and we can still run it. I'm going to go Lions 37-28 in this one.
Wow. Yep. So you don't have any faith either.
I don't like this matchup for them.
I
don't like this matchup for them. I don't like that they're getting it after the bye week too, when the Lions are kind of, like you said, hot and feeling it, right? Now, I don't think they should be trading for Matthew Stafford or any of that crazy nonsense you're talking about and trying to ruin the future of your team and your team as we speak right now. One of the dumbest, craziest thoughts you've ever brought up to the microphone.
Not. I've had dumber. No, it's not. I've had way dumber.
You're right.
Don't sell me short.
You're right. This is the dumbest Vikings idea I've ever heard you have.
No. Trust me. I've had far dumber. Although one of my best Vikings takes was from 2009 when Adrian Peterson had a fumbling problem. I said at the time to Paul Allen, they need to bench him to send the message on how to properly hold the football, because if they don't, it will rear its head at the worst possible time. And it did in the NFC Championship game that year when they grossly outplayed the Saints. But Adrian Peterson couldn't hold on to the damn football. Okay, but I don't have any bitter, hard feelings about that. Eagles at the Giants. Speaking of an absence of bitter, hard feelings, Giants fans will not be booing Saquon Barkley, as Josh Alper pointed out yesterday on our PFT text thread. They will merely be chanting Q when Saquon Barkley for the Philadelphia Eagles comes out. That's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be fun. Eagles are favored by 3, over under 42.5. We have yet to correctly pick an Eagles game against the spread this year, and I haven't picked the Giants to win any week this season, and I'm glad I haven't.
No, I hear that. I do think this will be fun. I do. Now, do we know the Malik Neighbors status as we sit here and do this Thursday morning? Right, I've heard that
he's back at practice. That's all we know. Back at practice.
I had heard from some people in the know that he's expected to play this week, but we haven't officially heard it, so that's a little concerning. I do think the Giants can hang around and make this game interesting. The Eagles, I would say the Eagles are one of the disappointments of football to me so far. 3-2, haven't looked good in any game yet, really, in my opinion. Had some games where it was like, ew, that looks bad. They're the most talented team in football, and there's something going on there. Their offense, it's predictable. It's simple. I've made the point that guys like Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels are doing it more at the line of scrimmage and checking to plays than Jalen Hurts in that offense when I watch it on film, right? It's simple plays. I don't really know what they're trying to accomplish. The defense has got talent. It's good, but it should be dominant. It should be dominant. They should be dominant in everything. They are the Eagles' all-star team. There's definitely something there behind the scenes. I know a little bit about it. Yeah, there's issues in the locker room or whatever else, but it's weird. But I'm still going to pick them to win the game because they are more talented than the Giants, and I just don't think the Giants can find their way into the end zone enough to win the football game. Excuse me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, you haven't given a score yet.
I'm going to go Eagles 20.
I thought you were laying out. You were swallowing your spit.
I was about to cough. Eagles 24-17.
I've got Eagles 24-20. What's the spread on this one again? Where's the spreads? There you go. Bless you. 3. All right, I got 24-20 Eagles. Yeah, look, this is almost like Cowboys-Giants from a few weeks ago. If you don't win this game, you've got major problems. And if the Eagles can't beat the Giants, they've got major issues this year, and maybe it makes for a more entertaining Eagles season for us, not for Eagles fans. I think the Saquon Barkley factor is real. He talked yesterday about how he doesn't think he's going to be booed, and it's not about him. And he knows what's going on. He knows that they in his mind, mistreated him, in his mind, didn't value him. The Eagles did. This game has the potential to be a big Saquon Barkley game, and I think the Eagles win, even though they still have deeper issues. This will mask some of the deeper issues, or at least temporarily push them to the background.
That's the part I can't wait to see. I mean, first off, I don't think the Giant fans will boo Saquon Barkley. I think they realize that this was more the Giants than Saquon Barkley for sure. And the other part is, I do want to say this, Mike, the Giants' D-line is one of the better D-lines in football. Dexter Lawrence should be in the NFL defensive MVP conversation. That's how good he's been. Brian Burns is a beast. This is one team where I kind of look at and I go, I don't think the Eagles can just overpower this front. And that'll be interesting. If they can bottle up the run a little bit with their front, that Eagles passing game, it ain't been all that good. You watch it, it's just a jump ball here, a slant here, and a screen here. That's all they do. And so that'll be the key to the game. If Saquon Barkley in that running game for the Eagles can get going to a point that it has to compromise that Giants secondary and leave A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith one-on-one.
I don't doubt Dexter Lawrence's abilities and skills, but the reality is if they don't make it to the playoffs, he's not going to get many defensive player of the year votes.
I know that.
You don't see that award go to somebody from a non-playoff team. Let's take a break. We'll have the late Sunday afternoon games when this joint enterprise of Chris Simms Unbuttoned and PFTPM continues right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. And as always, please bet responsibly and only with money that you are able to lose. If you listen to us, you will. Welcome back to the PFTPM Chris Simms Unbuttoned podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza.
Hey, got you in mid-drink.
And you're not going to lose if you listen to us. You're not going to lose. You would have won last week. Lose. Stop being such a hater on the show, on us. They would have won last year. They would have won the year before. Thank you.
I don't want to be responsible for somebody pissing away their life savings because they somehow have deluded themselves into thinking that we know what we're talking about.
You don't have to degrade me to do it. You'll find your own way to talk about it.
Why in the world would anybody listen to me when I basically sit down at my computer after I finish PFT Live, I look at the games, and I just pull scores out of thin air and or my butt?
Damn.
Why would anybody listen to that?
I don't know. Then we need to find somebody else to do this pod with next year.
Good.
That's it. We got to find.
Good.
Gosh. He doesn't want to pick games. He doesn't want you to listen to him. He doesn't care.
Remember when we were in Kansas City week 1, and Matthew Berry said, hey, how do I get in on that Picks podcast? I said, take my place. Be my guest.
Okay. All right. We'll make sure we say that at the next break. Matthew Berry and Fantasy Football with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. That's the new one. You're tired. You're retired. See ya.
Raiders at Rams. 43.5 over-under with a 6.5 point spread. The Rams were on a bye last week. The Raiders have basically folded the tents on the season. As a practical matter, with the Davante Adams trade, you have not picked the Rams straight up or against the spread this season. Will you be doing so this time around?
I am going to pick them straight up. I don't think it's going to be easy, though. I'm not going to pick them to cover the spread. I'm not. I think this is a week where the Raiders' offense can move the ball, run the ball a little bit, have some success on that side there with Aiden O'Connell. And then, you flip it around. The Raiders' defense is not bad. They're not. It's just they have no offense to help them out. They're really, I think, a decent matchup for this Rams offense that we know, hey, can run the ball with Kyron Williams, but not a healthy offensive line on that side of the ball. And then it's still without the receivers and the weapons there, to where I look at it and just go, yeah, they'll win the game. Matthew Stafford's still damn good. McVay will have a good game plan, and they'll nickel and dime their way in the pass game and take that occasional shot down the field. But I don't think it's going to be easy. I'm going to go Rams 21-16.
The Raiders,
yeah,
they didn't have a home game last week against the Steelers, even though they played at home.
Right.
This week, going back to L.A.,
they're going to have a home
they'll
game.
have a home game.
No.
It's weird.
It is.
And I'm tempted to pick the Raiders just because they have to properly commemorate the arrival of their new minority owner, who's going to find a way, mark my word,
That's
at
hilarious.
some point in our lifetimes, that guy will find a way to take the whole thing over. You watch. He'll find a way to acquire more and more equity and eventually take over the team, get Mark Davis to just sign it over to him. Just watch. Watch and wait and see what happens. What Tommy wants, Tommy gets, but he's not going to get a win in his first game as the owner, minority, asterisk, majority of the Raiders. It's a shame he can't be there for the game. He's got another job to do. He's going to be calling one of the other late afternoon games. Maybe he'll be glad he wasn't there. I'm still going to give the Raiders the cover. I've got the Rams, let me find it here, 27-23. I'll give the Raiders the cover as a gift to Tom Brady, a peace offering, as it were, even though I still continue to believe he needs to pick a lane between owning a team and being a broadcaster. Panthers at Commanders. The Commanders, who won by losing last week, who showed they can play with anyone. They're 8-point favorites against the woeful Panthers with a 51.5 over-under. That's the highest of the week. I haven't picked Carolina straight up or against the spread this season. Good.
Yeah.
You haven't picked Washington against the spread this season. Bad. It's one of the reasons why your numbers are caca. Who do you like on Sunday?
I of course like Washington. Jeez, I'm choking on myself today. I like Washington. I am going to pick them to cover the spread for the first time. I am. I think it'll be somewhat of an exciting game. I do think that Carolina will move the ball a little bit on the Washington defense. Carolina is one of the best running teams in football. Chuba Hubbard is up there towards the top of the list and rushing leaders in the NFL. They'll be able to chew up some clock. Andy Dalton will be able to throw the ball a little bit on Washington, but ultimately what it just comes down to is I don't think Carolina can ever stop the Washington offense. That's really the problem. I mean, as we saw last week, now it's not a great Ravens defense. It's just a good to solid defense. But Jaden Daniels every week has shown he's pretty hard to get off the field on third downs. He's a great decision maker. They have a balanced offense. I continue to be amazed by Cliff Kingsbury. I'm going to take Commanders 30-21.
35-20 Commanders. We both have them winning. We both have them covering the spread. I just feel like this is a must-win game for the Commanders if they truly are a good team. If you're a good team, you don't fall flat on your face after proving that you can play with anyone. That's the most encouraging aspect of last week. They went on the road, tough place to play, gave the Ravens fits, ultimately lost by a touchdown. They weren't embarrassed. They will be embarrassed if they step on a rake against the Panthers. I don't think they will. 35-20 and a big day for Jaden Daniels against a Panthers team that knows it's circling the drain or already beginning the process of going down it. Best game of the day, arguably, the Super Bowl 58 and 54 rematch. Chiefs at 49ers. San Fran favored by only 1.5. Patrick Mahomes 11-1-1 in his career as an underdog. Does he make it to 12-1-1 this week, Chris?
Yeah, and then you add that on to a bye week and Andy Reid's record on top of that, right? They're impressive. They're tough in these type of environments or scenarios, however you want to say it. I'm pumped to watch the 49ers offense versus the Chiefs defense. The 49ers offense is awesome, right? I know we don't have McCaffrey back yet, and they're going to have to do some juggling at the running back position with no Jordan Mason and the shoulder injury and all of that. And that's a shame because he's awesome at running the football, as we know. But I still think, again, with Isaac Garendo, I probably said his name wrong. Garendo.
You got it right. No, you got it right.
I was right. Garendo, right? Okay.
Garendo, tomato. You got it right, though.
Yep. I still think they'll be effective in the run game. We know that. Brock Purdy, the way he's throwing the ball, this is Kansas City. This is better than the last 2 years when they've played the 49ers. Brock Purdy is better than last year in the Super Bowl or the year before that when they played in the regular season game. So that's where I think it'll be different as well. Okay, but here's the other side that worries me for the 49ers to a degree here. We know the Chiefs' offense is not great. It's not special, okay, but it also did show signs of life before the bye week and moving the ball and finding a new way to play with their cast of receivers and who they got to work with there. And if there's one thing to worry about the 49ers, who are the best 3-3 team in football, it's their defense. Their defense it's not great. It's not the defense we've seen the last few years. That's where it's changed. They got one big-time player on their D-line right now. His name's Nick Bosa. Javon Hargrave's out. Done for the year. They got injuries on the D-line. Dre Greenlaw's not back. Hufunga's out, right? Charvarius Ward hasn't been playing great. There's no, it's Fred Warner and Nick Bosa right now, and I worry about that with the Chiefs. So because of that, the bye week, all of that, I'm taking the Chiefs to win this game in San Francisco, 27-24.
It's happened for the second time. It took 7 weeks to have it happen again, 27-24. And the last time, the only time we had the exact same score this year, that was the final score. It was 27-20, Chiefs over the Ravens to start the season.
Damn, so Chiefs are our team right there.
And look,
yeah, how do you feel about this?
This game disappoints me because it means no one's going to watch the first 45 minutes of our show on Sunday night. They should, but it's Chiefs 49ers. It's Super Bowl rematch. I just think that it's one of those things where it's gotten into the heads of the 49ers, and the idea that it's this challenge for Patrick Mahomes. They're kind of a fugazi 5-0. They had 2 weeks to get ready for it. I'm with you 100%. The 49ers defense isn't what it's been. They probably need Robert Saleh back there sooner rather than later, and I won't be surprised if he's back there next year, although from his perspective, maybe he'll want to go somewhere else. But it's just, it's more about the players being injured, as you said. It's not necessarily the scheme.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs' offense is good enough. Patrick Mahomes said yesterday that he's got extreme confidence in the guys they have at a time when we're seeing all these other trades. Juju Smith-Schuster has a huge game. Kareem Hunt has a huge game. It's 2017 rewind all over again. And so I think that it's just the Chiefs' time. And, maybe you could catch him in a trap game coming out of the bye. You're not going to catch him in this game. And it's going to be back and forth, and it's going to look like the 49ers might win. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And
I feel you.
In these moments, we see it rise consistently. And at a certain point, you just have to assume it's going to happen again.
Right. They're the ultimate get-the-win team. No matter how it happens, whatever, they get the win. And the 49ers a little bit this year feel like hey, we're finding a way to try to fuck it up and lose it every week. That's kind of what it feels like. Hey, we kick your ass for 3 quarters, and then we're like, hey, come on, get back in the game. This is boring. They got to have that vibe. So they got to straighten that out, and I got to see it to believe it a little bit. Here's one for you, right? Shanahan hasn't beat Andy Reid since he's been in the 49ers. Shanahan, statistic, this is right, perfect, Pete. This is what I want to talk about. Spags, Flores, Jim Schwartz, can't beat them, right? Because he can't crack the code against these guys. They're uncrackable. They do different stuff every game. They game plan for them a little different. They know how to have a few curveballs for them. And they'll do some things that, quite honestly, sometimes you go, that's not sound. But that's really brilliant and smart because you can't always be sound and perfect against a Shanahan offense. He's got too many answers and things to do. So sometimes you got to kind of just do things that are a little off the cuff, a little different, and he'll be like, whoa, I don't know what the hell that is, how to prepare for that. And they've had his number, and I'm going to take the Chiefs because of that.
All right, let's take a break. When we return on Chris Simms Unbuttoned at PFTPM, the primetime games for Week 7, including Davante Adams making his debut as a member of the New York Jets in Pittsburgh. That's next. We'll be right back.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Don't listen to Florio. F*** him. Listen to Simms.
Is that part of the read?
It was.
I missed that part.
They special delivered to me. They said, make sure you read that last line.
Welcome back to the PFTPM Chris Simms Unbuttoned Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza.
Right. Damn,
sorry.
You're really off.
I'm off today. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. I'm looking at a few things. Sorry, I've been off. My bad.
Sunday Night Football. The Jets are at Pittsburgh. Now, the Steelers had been a 1.5-point favorite. Then in comes Davante Adams. It swings 3 points to the Jets being 1.5-point favorites, and it has now crept another half point to -2 for the Jets. The road team is the favorite in every primetime game this week. It's Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers' 2014 NFC Championship debacle for the Packers.
Right.
Incredible game for the Seahawks, depending upon your perspective. Which quarterback, assuming as it appears Russell Wilson is back, which one prevails in this one?
Well, I'm going with the Jets. I am.
Didn't you learn last week? And I'm glad you didn't.
No, I didn't. I didn't learn last week. I think the Jets thing was positive last week in a lot of ways. Now, their defense didn't play great, but I don't think that'll continue. And I think that, again, this Steelers offense, I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball in the Jets consistently and really any capacity. So I don't expect that. And now I expect the Jets defense after last week to be extra pissed off because of it. Sorry, London. Now, you get into that. The offense was the thing that stole the show, though, for the New York Jets. I did like the way the offense looked. Again, there was formations, different formations. There was movement before the snap. There was motions and shifts. And there was a more aggressive nature to throw the ball down the football field. And, of course, they ran the ball and showed some different schemes in that department as well. So I look at that, and I'm just one that I'm really not sure about Pittsburgh and who they are and what they are. I know they're 4-2, and it's impressive, but I don't look at any part of their team and really go, that's impressive. I don't. They've had a favorable schedule. I think some teams that match up well with them. I think this team is better at how they want to play than they want to play. I think the Jets are going to win this football game 24-16.
Wow. Yeah, I think the worst thing that happened for the Jets on Monday night is Aaron Rodgers played like old Aaron Rodgers, not old Aaron Rodgers, but yesteryear, and they lost. You can't have an Aaron Rodgers game like that and have it wasted. I just think this is Pittsburgh. This is, oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life for the long arm of the law. It's prime time. They blew the game against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago in prime time. Russell Wilson making his debut. Russell Wilson. Tony Dungy said he was at practice 2 weeks ago, and Russell Wilson tore up the starting defense as the quarterback of the scout team. I can envision the play action and the ball being fired down the field, and I see 22-20 Steelers wins. Not going to be easy, but I think the Steelers win the game, and they get to 5-2. Monday Night Football, there's a staggered doubleheader, but nobody's going to give a shit about the second game. It's on ESPN+. I doubt anybody's going to watch it other than the most ardent Cardinals and Chargers fans. Let's start with the first game, the main game. Ravens at the Buccaneers. Chris, let me see what the spread is here. I got
3.5. The Ravens are
favored by 3.5 with a 49.5 over under. We have both picked Baltimore every week except the first week when we nailed 27-20 Chiefs, beating them. Do you pick Baltimore in this one?
Yes, I do. I think this is going to be an awesome game. I think this is going to be high-scoring affair. I don't think either one of these teams are very good on defense. I don't. These are two teams that it's built around the offense and outscore people and do that. Yeah, they got, big defensive lines, and the Ravens can stop the run, but they can't stop the pass. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can do both. And, of course, we know with the weaponry they got at receiver and then the big right arm of Baker Mayfield, yeah, I think that's going to be a problem for the Ravens defense. But on the other side of things, I feel this almost the same way about the the Buccaneers defense. Yeah, they can stop the run a little bit, but there's holes everywhere to throw the ball. I think it's an offensive explosion. I think Lamar's going to throw for over 300. I think Derrick Henry's going to run for over 100. I think Baker Mayfield to throw for over 300. I think the Ravens win 38-34.
Wow. Well, that'll be a great game if that is the score, and it's even fewer people that will watch the other game on Monday night if that happens.
Right.
And the Ravens, by the way, the Ravens are getting closer and closer to the much coveted streak of consecutive games with 100 or more team rushing yards. They hold that at 43 with the Steelers. They're at 39, I believe, right now, and they'll have a chance to break it against the Steelers if they can keep doing it.
That's awesome.
All right. We didn't disagree on any game this week until Sunday night. Guess what? We're now 2 for 2 between Sunday night and Monday night because I feel like this is a chance for the Buccaneers to remind everyone that they are pretty damn good. They had that little unfortunate Thursday night showing. They had the weird game against the Broncos. They'll be ready for this one. And, I think we saw something from them, especially with Sean Tucker, the guy who had 192 yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns. We're going to see a lot more of him. I just feel like this is a Baker Mayfield night. This is a Buccaneers win that will get us saying that they really are a shortlist Super Bowl contender. 30-27 Bucs win. And then the last game of the week. And this feels like a 4:05 Sunday regional game. Chargers at the Cardinals. LA favored by 2.5, over under 43.5. Who do you have?
Yeah, of course I'm taking the Chargers. They have Justin Herbert and one of the best defenses in football. I don't have a lot of faith in the Cardinals offense, as you've heard me say. Kyler Murray has not been bad. There's just not enough explosiveness on that side of the ball to scare anybody. And the defense, as we've talked about, there's just not enough blue-chip players there either. And I think the Chargers are going to start to come into form here as far as what they are as a team and start putting some wins together. I do. I expect that. I'm going Chargers 28-17. Sorry.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Sorry, I started too early. Marvin Harrison Jr. is in the concussion protocol. Zay Jones is back from a suspension. Okay, look, I'm not changing my pick, even though you make a persuasive argument. And I screwed up last week by picking the Broncos over the Chargers. I feel like this is going to be one of those Kyler Murray games that he reminds us how good he is. I think the Cardinals are going to be good for once a month. One of those, holy shit, I didn't realize they were that good. And then they're going to lose a couple and we're going to forget. And then they're going to remind us. I feel like Monday night they're going to remind us that Kyler Murray is still pretty damn good and they're not all that bad. 27-23.
Wow, 3
Cardinals
in a row
win.
against each other.
Let's take a break. Best bets and Folsom Prison Blues next on PFTPM and Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Chris Simms Unbuttoned, PFTPM. It's best bets time, and we've struggled this week. Usually there's 3 that just kind of emerge to me. Not that we're doing all that great, but this week it feels even more difficult. Who's your first one?
My first one is the New York Jets. I'm going with the Jets on the road in Pittsburgh. I think they win the game. I think they get the Davante Adams bump. I like the way the offense looked last week, and I think the defense will be even better this week.
I got the Falcons giving the Seahawks 3. I just feel like even though the Seahawks had extra time, I feel like they're kind of at a crossroads, as are the Falcons. If the Falcons win, and I think they will, I just feel like it's going to be by more than 3 points.
I hear you there. That was a tough one for me. I really thought about picking that game. I'm glad you had the guts to do it. I couldn't pull the trigger there. My next, I'm going with the Detroit Lions. They're 1.5-point underdogs in this football game. I think they're a better football team. I think they're hot right now. I don't like that the Vikings are coming off on the bye week, so I think that actually is going to hurt them and they'll be a little stale.
Back to fading dysfunction, the Commanders giving 8 to the Panthers. I think the Commanders, who are in a position to prove that they really do belong, will make quick and easy work of a very bad Carolina team. Give me the Commanders giving 8.
Okay, my last one, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills at home, the 9.5-point spread. I know.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with it. I think they get the Amari Cooper bump at home. The place will be electric, and I just don't trust that Tennessee defense.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. We think the Chiefs are going to win, and they're getting 1.5 points. So if they lose, maybe they only lose by 1. I feel like we can count on the Chiefs to pull this one off.
I wanted to take the Broncos too, but I chickened out.
Well, and thank you for not taking the Thursday night game. Folsom Prison Blues, give me the Bills.
Commanders over the Panthers. Commanders over the Panthers.
See you next time. Enjoy the games.
Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.